One of the cool things we can do with the Voice of the Customer surveys is we can send them out using the Dynamics 365 workflow capability and send an email once a case is closed, for example. So that email can go out and there'll be a link in the email that the contact can click on and then provide the feedback. So when we do this, we can actually link that survey response to the contact and also to the case as well. So here's how we can do that. So if I'm on the survey and I scroll down a little bit, we'll go to the invitations and actions. Now what we've got is an anonymous link. If I use that, that's fine. I can get the feedback in, but I have no way of knowing who actually provided the feedback. So what we're going to use instead is the email snippet section and also the invitation link text. Now that will turn into text that will be the hyperlink that when someone clicks on it, it takes them to the survey. So you want that to be something like, please provide feedback or let us know how we did or whatever it might be. So I've put that in there. How did we do? That's going to be my link text. And we see the email snippet. I can either select it from here or I've got this copy snippet and I'm going to copy that. It says it's been copied to basically to my clipboard and it's ready to paste into an email. So what I'm going to use next is just a basic email template. So if I go to the email templates and I've got a case feedback template that I've already started and created a little bit of. So all I'm going to do is underneath this paragraph is I'm literally going to paste in that survey snippet. I'm just going to change the font and the font size that I've used. So you'll see there it starts with survey snippet start and then it's got a string which is basically the ID for that survey and then survey snippet end. So it looks a bit messy, but that's fine because that's not what is actually going to be shown to the person that receives the email. They'll see whatever you put into that link text field. So I'm going to go ahead and save and close that email template. Now what I've got, if I go to my processes area, I have a case resolution feedback email workflow. So I'll just go ahead and open this. It should be fairly straightforward to create. What I've got it doing is running on the case entity. It's running and starting when the status of the record changes. So essentially that's resolving it. I've got one basic condition, check to see if the case status equals resolved. If it does, then we'll go ahead and send an email and we'll basically use a template. So if I go ahead and look at the properties, we can see there that I've selected that case feedback email template that I created. I'm going to have the email go from the modified by user on the case, so that will be the person that closed it, and it will go to the contact on the case. Now obviously that's very basic, very standard workflow. You could put in whatever rules you might have. You might have a do not reply email address or a feedback email address or support, whatever. That might be where the email comes from, but this is just to show you how that can work. So I'm going to close out of the process, and now I'm going to go to a case, and we'll go ahead and resolve this case. So put in a resolution, and we go ahead and then save that. Now, what this is going to do is it's actually going to send out an email. And it also creates a survey invitation activity as well. So let me go ahead and refresh and go back to the activities section. We should see the email. So there we can see this is the survey invitation activity that was created. I'll go to that in just a moment. And there we see the email that was sent out to the contact on the case. So if I open that, here we can see there's that survey link text where we see how did we do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It's taken me to the survey. So it's basically one simple question. How did we do? So I'm going to say it was great. I'm really happy. And I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Feedback's important. That's great. Thanks for the response. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Okay. So if I go back to the case, and we go back to the activities, we can look at that survey invitation activity. So here is where it says, right, well, what is this regarding? So immediately we can see there, it's linked in that case that we started from. So that's fantastic. So this allows, from a manager perspective, it allows you to go back and really review the feedback that you're getting on a case-by-case basis rather than just a whole bunch of feedback that doesn't really link to anything. It's also linking it to the contact, so that's Daniel in this case, and then also the survey that was sent out. The invitation link goes back to that survey, so it just shows you what was sent to them. So if I click on that, we can, oh, I've already completed it, so yeah, that's fine, only one response. So that would be, if I wanted to actually see the survey, I could have clicked on that. And then we've got a few other fields that are on here. Okay. Now, if I go into the Voice of the Customer menu and I go to Survey Responses, now this is good because this has come through pretty quickly. So we can see there we've got that respondent. If I then open that, we're now looking at a survey response form, and we can see whatever feedback was given. If I scroll down, this is basically that one question we had on there and then what the response was. We can see up top here, we've got all that information that we need to see who was the respondent, the contact, the case, and so on. Now, as you can see, there's other fields here: account, user, lead. So you can use these surveys and link them to any type of record, really, not just the standard ones. You could add in other ones as well. So that's how we can use an email template to then also use a workflow to send that email out once a case is closed, so you can gather feedback and link that feedback to the appropriate case.